Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the On Season Sports Podcast, where I am gathered with my co-host Alex.
Hello.
And myself, Noah. We are trying out a little different recording setup. Usually we're on the PS4, I'm not going to lie, and we go through different struggles with internet connection. But today we are on coronavirus break, quarantine break. But we're trying something different. We're using basically Skype. It's called Zoom. And we're gathered with a guest that we're going to keep anonymous for the next 2 minutes. To start us off, it is March 26th, 2020. The last time me and Alex talked to you guys would have been, 2 weeks now, when March Madness was supposed to be a thing. And
it was the start of the conference tournament.
Yeah.
So.
And we predicted all of our conference tournament, majority of the conference tournaments. And we only ended up getting one right. And it was basically the only team that ever got a trophy throughout the conference tournament, which was Florida State. But Yale also did end up winning. But with all this quarantine and the coronavirus going around, obviously, if you haven't heard, wake up. There are no sports, and this is March turned its back on us today. Other than that, I think we can jump right into it. This episode might be shorter than usual. We don't know how long we're actually going to talk, but we do have a very, very special guest in a great friend of mine in Alex, and we're going to introduce him as the Commissioner, John Earley. Tell me about yourself, John.
Gentlemen, good to be here. A little bit about myself. I'm a sophomore at UW-Madison right now, studying journalism and some business. Sports communication is that's the dream, man. Whatever I'll do with that is unsure right now, but a little about myself. I'm obviously a big sports fan. That's like all these, like Noah and Alex. We play in a fantasy football league, so plenty of talk there all the time.
Yep.
We're in high school. If you want to talk about some high school sports, I only actually played baseball all the way through high school. Looking back on that, I would have changed the whole thing. Would have played football and basketball, but
did you play basketball freshman year at all, or no?
I did. Yeah, I played freshman year.
But that was it. Same with you, Alex?
Yeah, just freshman year. That's when 5 or 6 of us quit.
Yeah. Damn.
That was a rough time.
Should have stayed at it, bro. We had the 3-point specialist, Alex Nutzman, out there.
Oh, shit.
Now, John, as being you're very knowledgeable about sports, I know we've talked a few times about you down in Madison working at, or at least last year, from what I heard, you were working at, is it RotoWire or is it RotoWorld? Which one is it?
Yeah, RotoWire.
All right, you want to explain what RotoWire simply as possible.
All right.
To everyone.
Fantasy sports company. They specialize in covering the fantasy side of sports. So, we still report the news because any sports news usually has some sort of fantasy impact.
Yep.
Injuries, signings, trades, the usual stuff that SportsCenter would pretty much cover. But the whole idea is to give the fantasy analysis from it.
Okay.
So.
Sweet. So now what do you specifically do on this website or for just the company in general?
Yeah. So last fall is when I started, when they actually brought me on as a part-timer instead of an intern.
Yep.
So I did college football breaking news. So Saturdays, obviously most colleges play Saturday. You get those Thursdays, Fridays, or whatever. But Saturday, head in there and do breaking news for just about the whole day. Get there before the games start, get the injuries, the ins and outs. Basically a peon Jay Glazer of the college football world.
Great analogy.
I was doing college football for that season, and then when that wrapped up, went into the college basketball season. So same deal there. Actives, inactives, pulling in the breaking news and then giving the fantasy spin for the day.
And are you still doing this year or?
Right. Yeah, I was doing that up until
until this all happened. So
yeah, that was a disappointment because this is probably the closest I've followed college basketball in a while. But.
Yeah, I agree.
Were you following the Badgers or just college basketball as a whole?
College basketball more as a whole. I probably only watched 2 or 3 Badgers games actually, to be honest. I really liked Kentucky this year. I thought that was going to be Kentucky.
Yeah, that was one of my teams.
Yeah,
we were going to do a pool where a couple people bet on teams and everything. That was one of the teams I was looking at with Kentucky.
Yeah,
they're pretty good,
solid as heck.
Did you think the Badgers had a legit shot at making Final Four, if not the national championship this year?
God, no. Are you serious, dude? You let Brad Kobe Davison chuck up 30 shots a game?
Yeah.
Nah, I wasn't buying it for a second. I thought they would have won maybe 1 or 2 games max. But
even when they came out with did they do like a simulation, Alex? And they said Wisconsin came out on top?
Yeah, they did a simulation on ESPN, and they beat who'd they beat?
So it was like BYU or something.
BYU,
yeah, it was BYU.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
I'm not buying it, dude.
They got the T-shirts now. I thought about buying one, the national championship T-shirt.
Yeah, no one could say they weren't, bro.
Exactly. So let's move on a little bit about. Let's just go straight into the fantasy experience that I wrote down. So me and Alex have yet to talk about fantasy football on here. So you are going to be our. I can't think of the word. You get to help us introduce.
You're going to lead us into it.
How we want to explain everything through our fantasy every week. And, I mean, I'd like to talk about Coat as much as we could and how competitive we are compared to some other leagues or how I know you've been in a couple leagues for fantasy football wise where it's not how we do it, I guess is the right term to say.
Yeah, there's not much depth, they're pretty top heavy.
Yep.
This league top to bottom I'd say is pretty dang competitive. That's what makes it my favorite league, It's everyone goes pretty dang hard. There's no sleeping.
Yeah, I agree. And even me and Alex are in a dynasty league, and some of the guys in there don't even. They throw money.
They check it once a week, or
they throw money in to pay for the league, and then half the time they look at it. So, or they just don't care, and they just keep the same team the whole year. There's no transactions or trade offers or anything like that. So it's kind of tough. But I would definitely say the fantasy football league we've created over the past, what is this, our 6th year doing it? 5th year?
I think last year was our 6th year. 5th year of the code officially, that 1 year in there. Where,
the one that shouldn't count. You mean
the asterisk on Josh Boyd's initial
first
championship?
Yeah, but I definitely think it's probably one of the most competitive and involved fantasy football leagues that I've heard or been in.
Yeah.
Well, and the best part about it is you can't just get 1 or 2 really good players because everybody does their homework, seemingly. So you have to have really good depth to actually compete for the championship.
Yeah.
You gotta have a complete draft to really set yourself up.
Yeah, the whole Andy Borjon strategy of getting 3 players for 3/4 of your money or more just doesn't really work out.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
No, it doesn't.
All right, so let's move on before we get into a lot of fantasy talk and some other things we're going to talk about with John. We're going to move on to the NFL. We're just going to do the NFL and fantasy football today. Free agency opened in the past. Did it open last week? Beginning of this week?
Yeah, something like that,
One of the two, whatever it was. And there was a lot of movement. We were all kind of stuck in our house. It seemed to me that there was a lot of first day signings when they opened it up.
Yeah.
It may just be because I was sitting around just waiting for some type of sports to pop up on my phone and tell me someone scored or someone hit a home run. Um, it is opening day today for the MLB, and I definitely shed a tear when I woke up. So, I gotta find this list that I had before. Um, let's just do this. Latest signings. So obviously, I'll say a name if they're irrelevant or don't really fit the gist. We'll just skip over them. But obviously, our first one that we have to talk about first, because me and Alex talked in the previous, Tom Brady. John, what are your thoughts on Tom Brady moving to Tampa Bay and leaving Bill Belichick in New England?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I never really thought it would happen. To be honest, I thought the evil empire would reign for 20 more years.
Yeah.
But
did you hear? Did either one of you hear that apparently Belichick wanted to trade Brady to the 49ers instead
Yeah, I
of Jimmy
saw
G,
that.
and then Tom Brady, after he signed with Tampa Bay, came out and said he was pissed off at Bill Belichick?
I didn't hear that. No, but
No, so basically what happened is that Belichick offered the 49ers Brady instead of Garoppolo, and then Kraft turned it down.
oh yeah, yeah. Kraft.
And then they ended up giving him Garoppolo. No, but what do you think about Brady going to Tampa? Do you think there's any real relevance, I guess, in the NFL and in fantasy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll make him a better team. I don't think there's any way you can become a worse team when you basically swap Jameis Winston for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
There certainly won't be turning the ball over quite as much, but
I think Tom Brady definitely upgrades wide receiver weapon wise. All he really had was Julian Edelman or dump off to James White all years. So
yeah,
I think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and I just saw Peyton Barber got signed or released by them, and all they have is Ronald Jones to run the ball. So
yeah, I think that Jonathan Taylor trip, that could be a real landing spot for him. They've got 4 or 5 Badgers in the last couple of years on that team. They got Fitchy, they got Dario Gabawale, they got a couple other players. So I don't know, maybe they just like their Wisconsin players, but it makes sense for the team. Ronald Jones is inconsistent.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it makes sense for him.
They got like the 17th pick or something like that in the upcoming draft.
I think, is it that high?
14 or 17, I think. It's in there.
Yeah, they're right in the middle.
I could see them. Their O-line is actually pretty solid. It's, according to PFF, it was the 7th best O-line last year.
Wow.
They got the 14th pick, by the way.
14.
I know they need help in that secondary. They had a horrible pass D last year. But I could also see them stocking up on another lineman because they know over the next 2 years, their only shot is if Brady's healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
They re-signed Sue. They tagged what's the dude's name? I can't remember his name, but I don't know. Maybe they go after the defensive tackle from Auburn, Derek Brown. I could see them go for a D lineman to get some more pressure.
Yeah,
but
they're a team.
They don't need weapons, that's for sure.
I definitely think they're a team that's going to be able to compete with Tom Brady on there now.
Yeah, they're definitely a playoff team. I think any team with Brady is a playoff team.
It's hard for that division though because Breeze is coming back. Another
Gurley's
free
in
agent.
Atlanta now.
Gurley's in Atlanta now.
I mean, the Panthers are going to be a pushover. They're probably going to be a top 3 draft pick next year.
I don't know.
Besides McCaffrey, they don't have a whole lot of talent. DJ Moore, but
you say Teddy Bridgewater went 6-0 with the Saints when Breeze was hurt.
Yeah, I mean they got like the best roster in football, dude.
Exactly,
one of the best, I'd say.
They could have rolled over with Taysom Hill and he probably would have been 5-1. So.
Yeah, I think the Panthers are a different story.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so another NFL top free agent that was signed. We'll go on the defensive side. Byron Jones went from the Cowboys to Miami. on
The highest paid cornerback.
$82.5 million for 3 years. That's crazy. That's a lot of
I
money.
think Miami's got a plan.
I don't know
what they're doing.
They signed.
They're just burning money at this point. They got so much cap.
Yeah.
They also signed.
They got those 3 first-rounders.
Yep. Miami also signed Kyle Van Noy from the New England Patriots.
I saw a report that they might trade the first or up to the first pick to get Joe Burrow. Do you think that is a possibility? They have so many first-round picks that they could do it.
I think it's a possibility, but I don't think Cincinnati's dumb enough to do that.
They don't want to roll with Andy Dalton anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. You think that's the right? I think Tua's the better prospect. I mean, you could say health is obviously a pretty big concern, but I'd much rather have Tua.
I definitely think if we're gonna spin this on like a fantasy wise, I think Tua is gonna be a better fantasy quarterback than Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, Joe Burrow can still use his legs a little bit, but Tua is much more dynamic.
I think Joe Burrow is more. Remember when we had that Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, like who's a better franchise quarterback?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of gonna be like. I think they're both gonna be studs, but I think Tua in the long run is gonna be just like one step ahead of Joe Burrow, like athletically wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'd go as far as that. I don't think Joe Burrow is gonna win a Super Bowl.
Not on that team.
Yeah, I think Brian Flores is a good coach. He shouldn't have won any games with that roster. That roster was awful. I'm not entirely sold on Zach Taylor yet. I don't know. He was basically signed out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd take Miami. They got so much cap. They have like a lot of young players. I mean, they have Xavier Howard and Byron Jones now as their cornerbacks. I mean, forget about how much they're paying them. That's a pretty good tandem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we got Phillip Rivers obviously moving to Indy for 1 year, $25 million. Case Keenum's going to become the backup for Baker Mayfield for the next 3 years. Marcus Mariota went to Las Vegas to the Rams. He'll be backing up Goff unless they pull some Tennessee Titans shit. Chase Daniels went from Chicago to Detroit. That must have been. These guys don't matter. Colt McCoy still
did Mariota go to the Raiders?
Yeah, he went to the Raiders. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. The Raiders. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you're good.
How about Case Keenum always finding himself a job?
Yeah.
That guy will play until he's the Brian Hoyer. It's just him and Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Brian Hoyer signed a 1 year deal with New England, and he looks like he's going to be the starter unless they find something.
Yeah.
They might roll with Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah. Are you buying?
They're going to tank and go for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I think that's the plan.
I definitely heard that rumor when I listened to Part of My Take. I'm pretty sure Big Cat said that was the rumor in New England.
Yeah, I mean, just go for it. You know, there's no good being in the middle.
Exactly.
You don't want to be in NFL purgatory.
Yeah, you know, Belichick isn't one to waste time on. He will lose games to get the quarterback he wants.
Yeah.
Now they find a guy in the 7th round to get incredible value and then go another 20 years.
Yeah. Now we look. We got. We'll just go quarterbacks right now. The Panthers sign Teddy Bridgewater. They sign, is it TJ Walker out of the XFL?
Mm-hmm.
They trade away Kyle Allen. And then they release Cam Newton because apparently they couldn't find a trade for him. Where do you guys think Cam could end up?
I was thinking about that. I had a kind of a tough time putting it together, but I think the Chargers might be up there for me. I don't think they want to sit with Tyrod the whole time, but I also think they're going to draft a quarterback. So
yeah.
Other than that, I thought like maybe I don't see Cam wanting to be a backup though right away. I was thinking maybe the Steelers wait for Big Ben to retire.
Yeah, I could see something like that. I feel like Cam wants to play right now, and I definitely think San Diego is his best option. And I also
Los Angeles.
Yeah, Los
Char-
Angeles. God, I suck at this team shit today. But I heard that New England wants nothing to do with him.
Yeah,
Same
if they're
with
trying to tank, what?
same with they don't want Jameis Winston either.
Yeah.
He's another guy that has nowhere signed yet. So, but there is
See,
quarterback spots that are up for grabs.
I would say that Cam would be a good spot, or the Chargers would be a good spot for Cam, but I think they'll draft Herbert. So
Right.
like it's like trying to find the one spot where he'll go, and I just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he should have went to the Bears.
What were you gonna say,
Bears, I think that's a pretty good
Yeah.
spot for him.
Yeah, Keith was very upset about not getting the Bears or going to the Bears.
Yeah. How about the Bears offseason? Go get even more washed up Jimmy Graham. Dude's a toaster out there.
Yeah, he's terrible. What was I going to say? I was gonna say something about Cam could go to Denver if they have money.
Mm.
Drew Lock.
If they don't feel like they like Drew Lock.
I mean, I bet John Elway loved Drew Lock, and John Elway's probably a white supremacist as well, and doesn't want to go after Cam Newton. So
yeah,
it was just it just floated through my head trying to find some teams that didn't have guys. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jacksonville.
Jackson,
yeah. They might ride the Gardner Minshew train for the next year. They need as much publicity down there. So
yeah, exactly.
Right. Sell some jerseys.
Maybe that's a spot for Jameis. Don't let him leave Florida and throw him down in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a pretty bold statement for Jameis to say that he's going to be in Tampa Bay for the Super Bowl next year, even though he doesn't even have a team yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe as a backup for another team.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some running backs. We have Melvin Gordon going to Denver. He finally left the Chargers and Austin Eckler. I know this helps me and Alex a little, but John, what are your thoughts on Gordon going there, and what does the future for Philip Lindsay or the Devonta Freeman have in store?
Yeah, it's a crowded backfield now. I don't know what those
and Royce Freeman has. Do they have Royce Freeman?
Yeah,
as well?
Royce Freeman. That's what I meant to say.
And bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Denver's going to load up the offense here. I can see them. They're going to be drafting a wide receiver too, is my guess.
Yeah, I think Cortland Sutton needs someone to take the pressure off his back if he's going to be the number one target for Drew Lock.
As far as that running back situation, though, that's going to be a crowded backfield. I don't see anyone really dominating any snaps there.
I could definitely see them trying to move Philip Lindsay somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't think Royce Freeman's going to be a factor. I mean, if you look at Denver running game last year, they were reliable at a fantasy standpoint first 6 weeks maybe. Then they started to split them up a little, and then they took Flacco. Flacco was still there last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
first year, then they just cut him.
Yeah, and then they threw Drew Lock, and then he wasn't. I don't know. I think their run game definitely needed help, and I think Melvin Gordon will probably prove that he wants the ball the most. But I still feel like there's going to be some type of fight like he had with Eckler in wherever they are now.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't go to a team where he's the clear number one running back.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to compete with really anybody. But
yeah, the next guy I have on here, Jordan Howard, went from he was the starter, led in snaps or led in yards 2 years ago. They draft Miles Sanders. They kind of split, and towards the end of the year, Miles Sanders looked like he took the lead for getting the ball. So Jordan Howard, I don't know if they traded. I think he was a free agent no matter what, but he went to Miami. Will he stand as the starting running back in Miami, you think? At least to start out?
Yeah, I could see it, definitely. Miami's another team that I think they'll be drafting a running back. One of those top three, I think they are going to go after Swift, Jonathan Taylor, or Dobbins.
Yeah.
And you know how that goes. They always talk. There's this they call it the second half split in fantasy football with running backs.
Yeah.
How once they they learn the system, they get going. They really start to get going in the second half. But I definitely see him starting out the year, but he's not a guy I want after week 6, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. Even if he is injury prone as well.
Yeah.
Let's see, another big name we got out here. Obviously, Todd Gurley going to Atlanta. I think once they came out and they released Devonta Freeman, I think it was destiny for Todd Gurley to go back to Georgia.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
And I 11 first round draft picks on the Atlanta Falcons offense. That's
yeah, and they invested big into their O line last year too. They drafted 2 linemen in the first round, and then they also picked up a couple in free agency. But it still wasn't that good.
Yeah,
that good last year.
But I mean, if you think about it, like these guys were first round talent at one point. Like, don't you think they have to be able to pull it back together if they come out of college, get in the NFL, and kind of shit the bed? I feel like they still have the ability to be a superstar on any team, but
yeah,
you never know. Injuries happen and shit like that. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, they're just rookies last year. I mean, you can't expect everyone to be like our man Elgin Jenkins with the Packers.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Best second.
What he had one sack allowed or 2 sacks allowed, right? Something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll move on to some wide receivers that top the list. Houston got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, and he's going to the Arizona Cardinals, David Johnson, in exchange to the Houston Texans. So the Houston depth chart for wide receivers was slacking a little. They did go out and sign Randall Cobb from Dallas.
He replaces him.
Yep, exactly. Randall Cobb is exactly like DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
3 years, $27 million.
Yeah. I'm surprised at that deal. I mean, I remember when the Packers signed Cobb that first time again. It was like 4 years for $40 million.
Yeah.
Is he still worth that much? Like, really?
Surprisingly, he had a better season than I thought he was going to have last year.
Yeah, same with me.
Dak kind of relied on him quite a bit because Dak really liked Cole Beasley as his safety blanket, and I think that's what Randall Cobb turned into this year. So he also got a lot of looks. Another wide.
Do you think DeAndre is better or worse on the Cardinals in terms of fantasy? I should say.
If you're obviously you didn't have like a terrific season last season, but I think actually it might be a bit of a step back. I think I actually know who I like this year. I like Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake. I think he's gonna have a good season.
He's gonna be the guy. They put a franchise tag on him. I think he's gonna have a huge year. I told Alex that he was gonna have a big year. So.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a big step back by any means. Like Hopkins, I'll put him in my top 3 for wideouts. I mean, I think talent wise, he's a top 3 wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, and the target share will be a little bit less because they have some better receivers that can stay healthy there with Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk. It's a pretty good receiving core in Arizona.
I think his only downfall is he goes from a Deshaun Watson, who he's known 4 years of college. Or is it for at least 3 years of college? And then he goes to Houston. He gets drafted the year after. But so he's been throwing him the ball for, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years now. So I think the chemistry he's going to lose from Deshaun Watson to Kyler Murray is different. Also, Kyler Murray, did he start every game last year or no?
I think so.
Yeah, he was.
He did start. He's still young. He's got to develop. So I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to make Kyler Murray a better quarterback, and sooner than later, he will be making DeAndre Hopkins look even better. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I'm a believer in Kyler Murray. Dude can sling it.
Yeah, he got a lot better. He got a lot better through the year, anyways. After he learned the offense a little bit more.
Yeah. On second thought, now that I'm thinking about Kingsbury and the air raid offense here, how good of a pass catcher is Kenyon Drake?
Well, he was in Miami for 3 years, and he had
I feel like
nobody.
I think he's all right.
Yeah, Tanny.
I don't know the stats, but
yeah, I don't know that.
I don't know. At least as good as like Aaron Jones, hopefully, out of the. As
Yeah,
a
I
receiver.
mean, David Johnson was
Yeah.
supposed to be that guy, and then he kind of fell off the charts. So I definitely,
Yeah.
I definitely think Kenyon Drake is more of a ground and pound type running back over David Johnson, in my opinion. Even though David Johnson's very athletic, and he could probably blow someone over, but I think Kenyon Drake is like almost the perfect fit for that Arizona Cardinals running game.
And he's had 50 catches in the last 2 years.
So he's had quite a bit.
He's catching it at a decent amount. He's over 300 yards. He had 5 touchdowns in 2018. Didn't have any receiving touchdowns last year. So he's more of a dump off. It seems like.
Okay.
All right. So we got Robbie Anderson's going to Carolina. Looks like he'll be the 1 or 2, maybe even the slot.
Carolina.
Yeah, they
no,
don't.
it could be the. Because they have Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore.
Yeah, I guess that's right. DJ Moore.
I think he'll compete with Curtis. Curtis Samuel plays slot most of the time anyway, and DJ Moore slides in there a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I might take Robbie Anderson over Curtis Samuel if I'm drafting. Curtis Samuel hasn't really.
Yeah, he was supposed to break out last year, and nothing really happened.
Yeah.
But DJ Moore did. He played really well last year. He turned out for Cruddy had him last year, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He turned out for Cruddy.
He
turned into pull him away the whole season.
He turned into a very good, solid wide receiver 2 option in fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more on the wide receivers. Emmanuel Sanders is going to the Saints. It just makes that team that much better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You hate to see it as a Packers fan.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Speaking about the Packers.
Go ahead.
Well, what were you going to say?
I said, how much more do you think Drew Brees has left in his arm?
Maybe one or 2 years.
I give him two max.
Yeah, I could see him if the Saints win the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, he's done.
I think
If he wins in the next 2 years, he's done.
Yeah.
But what you were talking about the Packers just signed Devin Funchess yesterday. I haven't seen a deal or a contract on him at all.
I don't think it's finalized yet. I think it.
Okay.
No. Right.
Also on the Packers, they did sign inside linebacker Christian Kirksey from the Cleveland Browns. Personally, I love it. I really want them to go out and get another linebacker. I like how Gutekunst thinks, where he actually needs to go get defense to help win games, unlike Ted Thompson would just sit there and be like, oh, let's go pick up A.J. Hawk off free agents, or let's go back out and get Clay Matthews again because he really helped us.
Yeah, or draft safeties and turn them into corners.
Yeah, like
or linebackers. Yeah, linebackers.
Yeah.
Oh my
God, those are some years. But yeah, I think I don't know. I think the Packers will go. I think they definitely want some speed. They need some more speed on offense at wide receiver. I think you saw, looking what they tried to do with Gmo.
Yeah,
and it just wasn't working. But I think Lazard is solid. I really hope he sticks around. But
I do too.
I
hope.
And MBS fell off towards the end of the year. He wasn't playing many snaps.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of snaps to Lazard, but yeah, I could see them taking one of the top wide receivers. I mean, there's so many in the class. It's the question: do you take one in the first round, or do you wait until the second and get Jalen Reagor? I think his name is from TCU. He's really good. So,
right on.
It's a question you got to ask. But I like the linebackers also in the class too. So,
yeah.
Good night.
Malik Harrison out of Ohio State. Some film suggests he is just as good and maybe even better than Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Probably in the top 20 picks, but they're saying, he's probably like going to be the third or fourth linebacker.
Another linebacker, Patrick Queen. He's very good. And then Isaiah Simmons from Clemson. I think he's an outside linebacker though, but he's also very good.
Isaiah Simmons is going to be my favorite player to come out of this draft.
Yeah, I think the Giants are making a huge mistake if they don't take Simmons. I know they need to help that O line, but he's a playmaker.
He's like he could potentially be like an Aaron Donald at a linebacker position.
Yeah, like everything about him like suggests he's going to be an absolute stud in the league, and it's like, yeah, we'll take a tackle.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, we'll see what the GOAT Dave Gettleman decides to go with.
Yeah, for real. All right, so I'm gonna be honest. I have dried out my information on NFL signings and movers for tonight. So we're going to move into some fantasy football and not fantasy, but some other miscellaneous sports questions for Mr. Earley. Let's go, and we're going to start it out with, we'll go, Alex, you give me your top 10, let's say, of predictions, very, very bold, because we don't even know if the NFL season is going to happen still, but very bold top 10 players in fantasy football for the 2020 season.
Are we going top 10 like mock draft?
Yeah. If we were to do it that way,
okay.
Your top 10 picks in a mock draft.
Okay. McCaffrey's going 1. If he doesn't go 1, then it's a Giants fan or
a Vikings fan.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey 1, Saquon 2. Zeke. And then I'd probably go. I'm just reading off of this list, and it makes a lot of sense. Cook 4. Michael Thomas. I gotta give Michael Thomas go 4. What'd you say?
Did you say Delvin Cook at 4?
Yeah, I'd say Cook. I'd say Cook 4, Michael Thomas 5, and then Devontae 6, Alvin Kamara 7, DeAndre 8, and then Chubb 9, and then Julio. Oh no, I'm gonna say Chris Godwin 10.
Nice, the Godwin.
Godwin over Julio Jones. Kind of like it. All right, John, you're up. Top 10 mock draft.
Okay. Yeah, mine's probably not going to differ too much from Alex's, but I'll give you the rundown here. We got CMC at 1, Saquon number 2. I think Kamara comes back in as number 3. Dalvin Cook at 4. Aaron Jones at 5. Zeke at 6. Go all the way to 7 for Michael Thomas. I really value running backs.
Yep, I agree.
As a first-round pick, I have a hard time not it's hard to find consistent production, so I'll take it where I can get it.
Yep.
And then 8, Derrick Henry. 9, Leonard Fournette. Underperformed in the touchdown category last year. If he can stay healthy, I think he'll be right back up there. And then number 10, my man Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake at a top 10 draft pick in fantasy football. Wow, that honestly...
They're going to need that O-line to play a little bit better, and if that air raid stays up, that's not going to turn out too well. But I'm going to ride the hype right now.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go for my top 10 mock draft. CMC and Barkley are easy, 1 and 2, however you put them. I'm going to follow John, and I'm going to say Alvin Kamara is going to have an absolutely huge year down in New Orleans. Then I don't think you can beat Zeke, and Dak down to as a duo for a running back quarterback, besides Mark Ingram and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
Props to them.
Not Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones.
That too.
That is so tough.
For my number 5, I honestly have a hard time putting Dalvin Cook down, just because I always get worried Dalvin Cook is going to get hurt at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm going to value him a little less, but I'm going to say Michael Thomas is my number 5. And then I will follow that with Cook. I think this is tough because I think DeAndre Hopkins could still possibly have a better season than Devontae Adams will. But I'm so biased that it's so hard to pick Devontae Adams over DeAndre Hopkins sometimes. So I'm gonna say Hopkins is my 7. Hopkins can't spell. Who else was I thinking of? There's another running back. I like Nick Chubb at 8. Derrick Henry. Oh, yeah, Derrick Henry 9. And I'm gonna round the top. You guys are gonna hate me for saying this, but I love tight ends, and I think George Kittle deserves a top 10 draft pick.
George Kittle, baby.
So he rounds out my top 10 for mock draft.
Okay, interesting. No, I like that. I like that Kittle. Although I still think Kelsey, man.
We're finally we're past the point in the NFL where we actually have more than 2 tight ends that produce in fantasy football. I mean, a few years ago, all we really were working with were Gronk and
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham. That was really all we had for the NFL. And then, even we had not Antonio Gates. What's the dude from the Falcons? The old guy. Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez. When he left the league, there was no one to catch the ball besides Gronk.
Yep.
Now he's in the Hall of Fame, so that's why. All right, so let's move on. I need to pull up my phone, and we are going to compare or contradict Matthew Berry's top 10 wide receivers and running backs. So he passed, I think it was just today he posted, his top 10 fantasy wide receivers and fantasy running backs. So we'll start off with the running backs because it's kind of surprising based off what we just said. These are his 10. CMC is your number 1. He has Dalvin Cook at 2. Barkley at 3, Zeke at 4, Alvin Kamara 5, Derrick Henry 6, Nick Chubb 7, Aaron Jones 8, Austin Eckler at 9, and David Johnson at 10.
Damn, David Johnson at 10. So is Houston gonna all of a sudden start running the ball again, or what?
Yeah, they haven't been a running team since no one.
Well, they're gonna have to start running the ball
Foster
now.
in 04.
I suppose, yeah, that's fair. But remember that year he was hyping up Lamar Miller all off season long.
Yeah, and then he goes out and tears his leg in half.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That was a preseason injury.
I definitely, he's definitely going off PPR because if it wasn't a PPR, Austin Eckler is not a top 10 running back in my mind at a PPR position.
Right.
David Johnson's hard for me to swallow too, even at.
I can't do that.
Houston's never been a dump off team either.
Yeah.
He's always trying to stretch out the long ball to somebody. So.
Mm-hmm.
The one that jumps out to me is Josh Jacobs at 12. I feel like that's a little low, but
yeah, I think so too.
I feel like Josh Jacobs should be 10 above David Johnson.
I like Josh Jacobs a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go to wide receivers. This kind of not a surprise, kind of a surprise towards the end, but Michael Thomas, obviously your number 1. Devontae Adams is 2. Tyreek Hill is 3, and DeAndre Hopkins is 4. Julio Jones 5. Amari Cooper 6. Chris Godwin 7. DJ Moore at 8. Mike Evans at 9, and Allen Robinson at 10.
Wow.
Amari, I don't think the Cowboys are a passing offense without Amari. Wait, does that make sense?
They're not as lethal without Amari.
Yeah, if they didn't have Amari Cooper, they would be absolutely horseshit. I'll just put it that way. Chris Godwin, I definitely agree. Chris Godwin is a top 10 receiver, but when you put Mike Evans and Chris Godwin together, would you say Chris Godwin is going to be a better wide receiver again?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think he fits more of the Julian Edelman mold, and
That's true.
or Danny Amendola or Chris Hogan or all these slot receivers that Brady has been known to dump off to.
But I
feel like
when you look at it, the last time he had a big receiver was Randy Moss.
But the last time he also had a big receiver, he could throw the ball 50 yards downfield.
You're right.
45 yards downfield. I don't think he can't do that consistently. So
now, would you? What are your thoughts on? Obviously, DJ Moore. I don't even. How are you looking at the top out of the top 10? Is it on something?
So there was no Odell Beckham there. I think that's still proper though. I think the Browns are better off using Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as their primary options.
I would definitely agree with that.
The arrival of Austin Hooper brings them down a little bit also.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point actually. I don't know, it's like every year we do this thing with the Browns where they win the offseason,
Yeah. If you win the offseason, you win the whole damn thing.
Back-to-back offseason champions.
I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs ever won an offseason in the past 5 years, so you tell me how good they are.
Yeah. One addition I want to make to this list, I want to put Terry McLaurin in the top 10.
Top 10.
I agree. I could almost agree with that. I think where's Terry McLaurin? He's 26 on this list. I think if
Dwayne Haskins,
I don't like Dwayne Haskins, so
I don't either.
I like Dwayne Haskins. That's the thing. I think if Dwayne Haskins figures out that damn offense and they finally fired what's his name, they can actually get some type of talent into Washington.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they at least give what's his name the start week 1.
Who?
The quarterback. What the hell is his name? No, I forgot.
Who?
Washington Redskins quarterback.
Dwayne Haskins.
Haskins. That's what it is. For some reason, I couldn't remember his name. Yeah, that's.
Oh my god.
I definitely do. I definitely like Terry McLaurin in fantasy though.
Allen Robinson at number 10 is awful. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, I don't get.
I don't understand the hype behind that. I haven't heard that before. Obviously, some of the people who are below him, Cooper Kupp, Cortland Sutton, I think is better than him. DJ Chark is at 20. I think he's better than him. AJ Brown, Kenny Galladay. So
Kenny Galladay keeps getting disrespected every year.
He does. It's because Matthew Stafford can't stay healthy.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah,
DK Metcalf all the way down to 27. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
You're good. I was just saying, Kenny Galladay, if Stafford plays a full slate, I think he'll be top 10.
Yeah, I don't know. Kenny Galladay, I think the past couple of years he's been trying to live up to the Babytron nickname that he's given, and so I think he just gets underrated in that respect because he's not living up to Megatron, which I don't know if he really could. So I think he's been really solid, and he gets underrated for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move quickly. We've kind of talked about favorite rookies coming out of not favorite, but like your top guys coming into the NFL draft this year. Fantasy wise, John, give me, let's just say top 5, top 7 rookies in a dynasty fantasy league that you would like to watch out for, or who you think could be a superstar in the future.
Okay. Well, I think those 3 running backs I mentioned before, and DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor, and J.K. Dobbins those guys are all going to be, eventually I think they're going to be guys we're talking about in the front of drafts like this, along with, Saquon, Kamara, CMC. I think Taylor is the best pure runner in there, but he doesn't have the receiving skills that DeAndre Swift does, so I think Swift is the better bet year 1. Obviously, this all kind of depends where they go.
Yeah.
We don't know that yet, but Swift, Taylor, Dobbins, all 3 are going to be, I think they're going to be studs at the running backs. Another guy to keep out an eye for, I think, would be Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of LSU last year. If you watched any LSU, he was a pretty strong component of that offense, and I think his his skills are pretty similar to J.K. Dobbins. Nice low runner, can just beat the fuck out of you if he wants to.
Yep.
Those are my top 4 running backs I want to keep an eye on. But you got at the wide receiver position, you got Jerry Jeudy and C.D. Lamb are the 2 headliners for the wide receiver class. And then you got Henry Ruggs following right behind. These dudes that run a fast combine, they blow right up the charts. Like Henry Ruggs is a really good wide receiver and should be, a first round prospect, but
He's gonna turn.
certainly
He's gonna turn into a John Ross.
Yeah.
I
think he's better than John Ross, but
no, yeah, but I mean, I feel like those fast guys, they tend to get hurt a little more often. Like Tyreek Hill has injury problems time to time. He's never really shooken up, but there's always that problem that you could possibly have. But who knows? Henry Ruggs could be the next Tyreek Hill, and we could be talking about him.
Yeah, right. These guys are all. I mean, the draft really is. I mean, it is a crapshoot. There's a lot of things that go into making a football player.
Yeah. Now, would you ever have thoughts on drafting a rookie quarterback in, let's just say, like Coat or a regular just fantasy football league?
It would have to be a pretty perfect spot. It would be like if Mahomes had started year one. All the weapons have to be there. You got to have a good offensive line because I don't know, adjusting to the NFL speed, rookies, if they have a bad O-line, it's always just kind of a mess.
Yeah.
So
would you have drafted Kyler Murray if they had DeAndre last year?
I mean, I can't say I would. Yeah, I would have drafted a late flyer for sure not as a starter, but as my number 2 option. Yeah, that's kind of like that's what Keith did with Lamar Jackson last year. You get one, and you throw the flyer out there that has that shot of popping. But yeah, I wouldn't do it very often, but yeah, a rookie quarterback like that. Yeah, I'll take a shot, especially if he's got the legs like Kyler Murray does. But
yeah,
Dwayne Haskins, no, definitely not.
No, Dwayne Haskins is not the answer. I don't think, and I don't think he. I think they end up drafting a quarterback in the next 2 years because I don't think that Ron Rivera wants Dwayne Haskins as his quarterback anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Alex, anything changed from your top 5, or you got any notable rookies that you're just eyeing up besides the ones John mentioned?
I think C.D. Lamb is the best receiver in the class. But Justin Jefferson from LSU, I really like him. I mentioned Jalen Reagor earlier. He's a fast receiver from TCU. I like him as well. I think the tight end class is not great this year.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's kind of the same with John. I think DeAndre Swift is the best running back in the class, and then I go with Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor did step up his receiving game from last year, and he kind of cut down on the fumbles that he had in his freshman year. So I think he's a better running back, obviously, than he was his freshman year. So I don't know. I think Jonathan Taylor ends up being the best running back.
I think he
bit of Wisconsin bias anyway, but
yeah, right.
I mean, he's a top 3 running back in college football history. You have, I mean, in terms of total yards.
Yeah, it's like based on the stats and he's just a stud.
All right, well, we are running down on some time, so we are just gonna jump in while we have these last few minutes with Mr. Earley. We are gonna just go into some miscellaneous, get to know you, how you think. Sports questions. They're all kind of lineup-based best players of all time. So recently on Instagram, I have been seeing MLB players posting their all-time MLB lineups. So on the spot, John.
Yep.
If you had to make a lineup or at least fill an MLB team starting lineup, what would it be? What would it look like?
Yeah, are we talking like 1 to 9 batting order or just?
So you can do it that way if you want. That's how they did it. You don't have to do it that way. You could just throw best positions out there. Whatever you would like.
Okay. Damn, this is awfully tough. My baseball history is not a phenomenal depth of knowledge, I'll say. But I'll tell you what. I'll just give you one pick for sure. Batting cleanup is David Ortiz.
All right.
100%.
Big Poppy is definitely John Early's main man.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. He'd be my man out. One of my outfielders filling that out. Maybe Kirby Puckett.
Ooh, little twins
Kirby
action.
Puckett out there in left, and then Trot Nixon out in right field. I'm just playing.
I mean, I definitely think you have to have Mike Trout in the lineup for all time, right?
Yeah, I think at his pace that he's setting, he's gonna be an all timer. Yeah, we'll put Mike Trout out in right.
All right, now who's
Sure.
your favorite catcher?
Honestly, like Yadier Molina. Honestly,
I saw a lot of people with him in there.
yeah, I like him.
I think I
don't
put
count myself.
I think I put Mike Piazza as my catcher. I think him or Johnny Bench. So let's go with that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Now you have David Ortiz at the first base. How about your middle infield?
I'm not putting Jeter as short, that's for sure. Derek Jeter is the most overrated baseball player of all time. Don't tell me to kiss the rings or nothing. You look at his stats all the time. The dude is not that great.
No, you see, I love Derek Jeter as a person, but he was the captain. He made one good play in how many World Series? He won a lot of rings, but he was not statistically like a very good player. He was just like a very like slightly above average, like get the job done type of guy.
Yeah.
Even though he had so many he had what, 2,000 hits, 3,000 hits.
Yeah, I mean, he played for a while, didn't he? I mean,
He played for a while. Same with Ichiro. Ichiro is an above-average player that just played forever and just got base hits. He lived for the left field line. He's a girl softball hitter. That's what he is. Yeah. So you got a middle infield, a third baseman, and then one pitcher.
Okay. All right, I'll start with the pitcher. Let me get into the pitcher here. If I had to pick one, as a starter or just
anyone.
Okay. I'm not going Mariano Rivera. I'm gonna go. Let's go Pedro Martinez.
Pedro.
My guy.
All right, so Alex, I hope you're getting yours ready.
I don't have paper here. I'm gonna go off the dome.
All right. So John, you think of middle infielders and a third baseman, and I'm gonna jump to Alex.
All right. Second baseman would go like. Oh wait, are you jumping right now?
No. Well, if you got him, you let me know.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. I'll put Rogers Hornsby at second base.
Rogers Hornsby. I love that.
And then Mike Schmidt at third.
Oh, great pick.
Hey, thanks.
Mike Schmidt's a beast. And then what else? What do we got? Shortstop. You said you didn't want Jeter.
Right. Honus Wagner, maybe?
Did Wagner play shortstop? Yeah, I think he did. All right. I can see it.
That's the best I got, man. I know I'm definitely not really filling this thing out that well, but
hey, we got somewhat of a lineup. You got Ken Griffey Jr., the best left-handed swing ever, Mike Trout, and then Kirby Puckett. He's got your 5-hole. Then you got Big Poppy in your cleanup, Yadier Molina, Pedro Martinez, Roger Hornsby, Mike Schmidt, and Honus Wagner. I don't know if you can do much better than that. I mean,
all right, I'll put my team up against anyone as long as Travis.
All right.
Yeah, Travis Allen leads you to the promised land.
Alex, your turn. You can either go in a lineup or you can go position based.
All right, that's way too much thinking. But right field will be Ken Griffey. Center will be Mike Trout. Left field, I'm gonna go with Joe DiMaggio. And then Shortstop, I'll go Cal Ripken Jr. I'll go with Mike Schmidt at third base as well. I'm going to go Mike Piazza. And then I'm going to go Jackie Robinson at first base. And then...
Okay.
No. This is a younger me talking here. My second baseman is going to be Chase Utley.
Oh, I remember that younger Alex Nutzman.
Oh yeah, Chase Utley was the man.
All right.
Or maybe throw in Nick Punto as my utility man.
All right. What are we missing here? First base, you got Jackie. Shortstop, Ripken.
Oh, I don't have a pitcher.
Or you're missing one. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, pitcher. Duh.
Oh, God. Roy Halladay.
Roy Halladay. Rest in peace, Roy.
Rest in peace, Roy Halladay. No, I'm just kidding. That's not. I'm gonna go with Cy Young. The guy has an award named after him.
He's got to be pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, you want to know what mine is? So I'll lay it to you quick. Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. Mike Trout. Christian Yelich is not at a Mike Trout stage yet in his career. Okay? So I got Ken Griffey Jr., Mike Trout. My left fielder, I'm putting Vladimir Guerrero in left field.
Oh, that's a great pick.
I like it.
All right. We're coming in to first base, and we're going to pick Frank the Tank Thomas.
True.
I'm going to take Buster Posey in his prime 2011 season as my catcher. I'm going Jeter. I like Jeter. He's my shortstop. Did Ozzie Smith play second base?
He played short, but you could put him at second. We'll go with it.
All right, but Ozzie Smith is going at second base. My third baseman is going to be... Damn, did Pete Rose play third base? What position did Pete Rose play?
I think he was a first baseman.
All right. Pete Rose played outfield, first base, and third base. Look at that. Pete Rose is my third baseman. And I'm going with Trevor Hoffman as my pitcher.
That's awesome.
All right. Now, one last thing before we close.
Hold on. You're taking... Since we're talking about Buster Posey in his prime...
No, it wasn't Buster Posey in his prime, but like if you look at a lineup or like a team that you'd make like this, you would basically look at them at like their best years that they had, right?
No, I'm talking Joe Mauer in his prime.
Okay, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, we all forget how good Joe Mauer was, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
He was an MVP.
Before Target Field, Joe Mauer was good.
Yeah.
Then shit hit the fan.
Yeah, he gave him that big old contract, and he just seat on the couch.
Then he forgot he had knees.
Yeah,
he had to play first base.
All right, so we are just over an hour right now, so we are gonna do one more question with John Earley before we sign off.
All right.
Not top 5. We're going starting lineup all time in the NBA. We need to throw a different sport in here.
Okay. Yeah, you want this to be like working together, or
what you think at the top? No, chemistry does not need to be involved. I just want your top, like your best lineup, like that you would put together. Chemistry could play though, if you wanted to do that.
Okay. I don't think I will that much. We'll do it more Team USA style here. Just put the studs out there.
Exactly.
I'll start it off with putting Magic Johnson at point. The size.
Yeah.
Ability to distribute, especially with the rest of these guys. He's not going to need to shoot the ball that much. Shooting guard, Michael Jordan. Hard to hard to leave him out. I mean,
Hard to leave the GOAT out. I mean, right?
yeah. We'll go with small forward Larry Bird.
Ooh.
One of the best shooters of all time. One of the best trash talkers of all time.
One of the best
Limitless
white guys
range.
of all time.
Steph Curry followed in Larry Bird's footsteps.
Yeah.
Sort of. And then power forward, LeBron James. A positionless man. So we'll put him at power forward. I was going to put like Hakeem Olajuwon in there, Hakeem the Dream.
Yeah.
I mean, LeBron. And then at center, we got Shaq.
Yep.
I was thinking about Kareem, but Shaq was like one of the most dominant players of all time. So I'd put him in there.
All right. Alex.
I'm going to go with Allen Iverson as my point guard. And then we're going to roll out with Kobe at shooting guard. We're going to go with MJ at small forward, LeBron at power forward, and then my center will be Hakeem because we need a little bit of defense on this shooting dominant team.
Yeah.
You're telling me Shaq didn't play defense? All right, so
not as much as Hakeem.
Exactly.
Hakeem is like one of the best defensive players of all time.
All right, so I'm gonna let you know I am not an avid NBA all-time watcher, but I do know my shit sometimes. I'm gonna go Magic Johnson, same as John on the top. My shooting guard is going to be Kobe. They're all going to be kind of the same. MJ will have to be my small forward. LeBron, you can't deal without him. You got to throw him somewhere. He could play somewhere. And then for center, I want to do something different for center. But yeah, I know who I'm going with. Yao Ming is going to be my all-time starting center.
China. Okay.
Okay, quick question before we finish here: Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I've been going back and forth on this for years, ever since the 2016 finals. I was a LeBron guy, and then in the last year, I've switched back to Michael Jordan. But if LeBron wins a championship with LA, it's gonna be hard for me to deny LeBron James because I think he's a better basketball player overall. He's got more range as a shooter, I think, and he's a better passer. I'll give Jordan the edge on defense, but I think LeBron's a better player. But the accomplishments with Jordan tend to outweigh him. But
yeah, I think that's
other finals.
Personally, I think that's like the only thing that holds LeBron back. LeBron's obviously going to sound cliche or whatever, stereotypical that my favorite player is LeBron James, but I don't give a shit. I love watching him. I love him as a person off the court. Even when he posts stupid shit, I always watch it. Him and his kids. But I definitely think because Jordan has the rings and some of the stat lines that he has, that Jordan is still going to be the GOAT over LeBron. Until LeBron proves that he can have a couple rings.
It's moved a little bit.
Did we lose him? Right when we're going to end? No, we're going to lose him. Well, I guess... there he is.
Oh, I froze up for a second there.
So what were you going to say?
Yeah. I said I think that it's moved a little bit closer, but I still think Michael Jordan is better than LeBron. But it's pretty close, I feel like. Yeah, you could see the argument either way.
It's
just kind of how you look at it.
Yeah, anyone over the age of 30 will tell you that MJ is probably the GOAT.
Yeah.
And then pretty much the generation,
Mm-hmm.
There's people who still think Wilt is the best player of all time, but those people are almost dead.
Yeah.
If
Corona doesn't get him in the next
Kareem
minute.
is the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all we got time for, at least. We're sitting at about an hour and 10 minutes. Went a little longer than expected. But, Mr. Earley, me and Alex, thank you so much for taking time out of your Thursday night to talk football and all other sports.
Yeah, no, it was an honor. I appreciate you having me on. I'll tell you what, this is the #1 growing podcast in the nation. So I wanted to be a part of it.
We love to hear that. The number one growing podcast in the nation, without an advertisement. There you go.
Yeah, right. No ads. We're
Um,
men of the people.
Exactly. We'd like to thank everyone that is listening on Spotify, on Podbean, where we use our podcast. It is also on YouTube and iTunes. Apple Podcasts is what I was trying to say. But if you guys enjoyed, please use one of the subscriptions or whatever you got to do to come back and listen to us again. I hope you liked what John Earley, our fantasy football commissioner, liked to say. Lots of sports knowledge. So, John, once again, we thank you. And thank you to everyone that listens. And me and Alex will see you next time.